YouTube. Welcome to the first installment of Spectrum of Hurdle, a new podcast YouTube series focusing on the positive autism throughout the nation. Our first guest we have today is Simon Sez, professional wrestler and attributable extraordinaire.
I'm the first one, huh?
First one.
Dude, inaugural. Look at that.
There we go.
That's why you paid my exuberant fee to be here.
Hi. Simon, can you give me a background in your wrestling trivia history?
I became a professional wrestler in February of 2006. Well, there's a segue to that. So as soon as I got old enough to work, 14, 15, I promised myself I would never have a regular 9 to 5. I would never punch a clock. I would never work in a cubicle. So my very first job ever was doing henna tattoos at Universal Studios. Then I found out that the psychics in the tent across from us, Shane, were making more money. So I taught myself how to read palms and how to read tarot cards, and I became a psychic. That segued into becoming a scare actor for Halloween Horror Nights, which introduced me to wrestling, which introduced me to trivia. So now I'm a wrestling trivia host.
Awesome.
Around the world to go across the street, sir. Yeah.
Cool. And as I understand that you all have a son with autism?
Yes, my 7-year-old Harry is autistic.
Okay.
I have 2 twins that are 13 years old, Ben and Dexter, and then our little one, Harry, is autistic. Yeah.
Okay.
And he is the life of my life.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And how has having a child with autism inspired you to be a father? Or how has that changed?
Well, so my twins, Ben and Dexter, are technically my step kids, but they're just my boys. So they came along when they were about 5, and then they're 13 now. Harry was 7, so it was a transition at first, but then having Harrison as well, when we found out, he had more of a developmental delay. It was rough at first, especially for the wife and I. Acceptance is the first part. You can't change it. It doesn't make them less in any way. It doesn't make I'm probably on the spectrum somewhere myself. You know what I mean? You see the way I dress, but
No, you're good.
so yeah, it's been tough, especially making sure he has everything he needs and make sure that we're on his time and not trying to keep him on anybody else's time.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, do you find it different parenting an autistic child compared to parenting someone not on the spectrum, like it's a twins?
Do I think it's more?
Is it different? Do you
Oh, yeah.
parenting style different?
Somebody asked me not too long ago, actually, is it more difficult? And it's really not. It's just different. There's different approaches.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's different things that the twins understand that Harry doesn't understand. And honestly, in a lot of ways, vice versa. Like, not to throw my twins under the bus, but Harry's 7 and he's a way better reader than the 13-year-olds are.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's not more difficult, but it is different. But then you could say it's different from every child to child, because the twins themselves, it's the fact that they're, twins.
Right.
It's different parenting one and parenting the other.
Yeah, that's a definite challenge growing up in my family with being autistic. When I had one sister with Down syndrome, I was just autistic without on the spectrum, and I had a sister who was almost a genius regular. And watching my parents balance that, it was difficult. It was difficult to understand, but I'm definitely understanding more, especially what you're going through now.
And hold on, especially because like you're older than I am, Ed, and back then people didn't really know what autism or like ADD or ADHD and stuff. They just called it you're hyper, you're hyper, or you just distracted in school or
Ritalin.
Yeah.
Give them Ritalin and get them out of the way. That's what it was back when I was kids. Now, I'd like to hear about some of the charity work you've done.
Oh man, so for a long time, for 7 years, I ran a company called Vintage Wrestling, and that was my wrestling company. We did a ton of charity stuff. We did stuff for local churches, local high schools that needed funds for their athletic programs and stuff. And I knew I should have memorized it, but now with Pro Wrestling Action especially, we do stuff with the Special Needs Advocacy Program. That's what it's called. I didn't memorize it.
Yeah.
So I've done a lot of stuff through wrestling with them, meet and greets, like showing up at events and just meeting the general public, meeting the fine people that run the organization, and through the Simon Time Trivia Show, I've done charity events where all the funds go to different organizations that are to help people with autism.
Excellent. I love that. That is amazing. Yeah. Any more questions? Yes. As you know, our company is called
Hurdle, baby.
Yes.
Yeah.
And our question to you is, what hurdles or what are the biggest hurdles that you have encountered as being a parent of an autistic child?
I think we hit it right off the top, man. Acceptance is, acceptance in a lot of ways. Acceptance, and there's people that try to turn a blind eye to it and think like, well, it's not my problem. So when it comes to other people who are autistic, not their children, but other people's children, other people's family members, other people's friends. But the big part of acceptance, man, is like, within yourself, you know, because I know it was rough on the family when this first became a possibility. Like, no, not our baby. You know, he's perfect, he's beautiful, and he still is all of those things. He just has autism, right? You know, but he's still, you know, he said that all I ever cared about was hearing my son say, "Oh, I'm gonna get choked up." All I ever wanted to do was to hear Harry say, "I love you," independently. And for a long time, they told us, "Oh, he's gonna be nonverbal," and now he won't shut up, and I love it. Like, it was just one day to the next, like something clicked, and now, you know, he's got a little bit of a social delay, but you know, he talks, he jokes, he reads, he's everything. He's everything I wanted, you know. So that's the hardest part, was the acceptance at the beginning, and then learning how to go with the flow.
It's kind of ironic talking about acceptance and being a trivia host, because for 2 years we had a group. We used to do once a month social gatherings with Cynthia down in Castleberry, and we found out that all of us have this very strong strength in trivia. So the four of us used to gather every Tuesday night in Winter Garden, where they had a pop culture trivia night. And
I mean, you still do. You could,
yeah, because of your. For 2 years, we never ate. We never ate for anything. We would win every other week with it. You're cheating. You can't do that. These guys are autistic. It don't matter. Just because you're autistic, what it does is it gives you strengths in other departments where your weaknesses are showing. It really does. And that is a big thing, is acceptance of your strengths.
It's like a superpower. Yeah, it's like a superpower.
It really is. Yeah. I have a friend who knows every movie ever made. Carl, he knows every movie ever made. And people saying, "You gotta be cheating," and it's not cheating. It's just we retain all that information.
Well, I just want to say before we cut things off, I've known Ed for a long time through wrestling. We worked some of the sing shows together, and of course, when he mentioned that Roto was becoming a thing, I immediately became invested. I have a personal vested interest in it. I've followed all the stuff you guys have done. Loved the news story you guys did. I shared it on the Simon Time Trivia page, shared it with everybody. And I'm a huge advocate. So everybody watching this, the first edition of this YouTube podcast, you got my stamp of approval, and anything I can do to help you guys out, be it charity, appearances, sharing the flow, or just keeping the voice heard. Hurdle is a great thing, and I'm very glad that it exists, guys.
Thank you very much.
Hold your heads up high, because you guys are doing something awesome for the community, especially a community that needs a voice, you know?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. This has been Simon Sez, and ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for turning into the first installment of our YouTube video series. We have many more coming in the future, and feel free to like, subscribe, and follow us on YouTube. Everybody have a wonderful night.
And if you have any interest in being on our show, you know, and sharing your story and getting out there, you know, please feel free to contact one of us. Me, Shane Canfield, or Edward Kucher, or go to our Facebook.
Yeah, drop the social media tags. I know where to find you guys.
Will do. Simon, thank you for coming out.
If you signed, you got it.
Thank you.
Have
Have a wonderful day.
do.